Cheers, guys. That's good beer. Hey, what's going on, guys? I know it's been quite a while since I posted a video for you. I've been really busy. I had a lot of conventions going on. I just finished a full-size jazz build, so that turned out pretty good. Had a lot of things going on with my family, a lot of things going on with work, so I just haven't had any time to put together any videos. But today it's a rainy day, so I figured I'd take advantage of it and throw some together for you. But before we get into that, you know, I got to talk about the beer. Today's beer is Jack's Abbey. It's Mass Rising. It's a double IPA. Very good, very hoppy beer. So if you're a fan of hops, this definitely satisfy that craving. Today's video, what we're going to be talking about is stilts. So I always get people walk up to me and they look up there and say, "Are you really 8.5 foot tall?" Well, the answer to that is no. I'm actually vertically challenged. I'm 5'7", so I needed to get a pair of stilts to get me up to the height for Ironhide and Megatron. Because let's be honest, 5'7" Ironhide just doesn't do it, you know. So I had to get the stilts in and get up there. But before you decide to throw on a set of stilts or you make yourself some lifts, you need to ask yourself a question: are you physically ready to stand on stilts? And when I say physically ready, I mean, do you have any kind of leg injuries, back injuries? Do you have dizziness, fainting? Because these are things that you need to look at and say, you know what, I probably shouldn't do it. Because when you're wearing these big costumes, you got people all over you, and they're going to be surrounding you. You have kids, and you really don't want to fall down on any of them, because that's just it's going to be a bad day for everybody. And honestly, you're probably going to end up getting sued. So keep that in mind. So there's all kinds of different ways you can get some added height to your costume if that's a route that you want to go. You could just go a simple route, which would just be stacking up some foam insulation board or maybe some EVA foam to get you that height. Attach it to your foot. Not actually your foot, but some sort of foot system, because you don't want to put drill or screws in your foot or anything like that, because it'd be painful. But you could go that route. The thing with that is eventually that's going to get worn down the more you walk, and you either have to replace it or rebuild it. So something to keep in mind with that. You can also just find everyday objects. You can find kitty litter boxes, or hard plastic kitty litter boxes. You can use that as a lift. You can use bed risers. I've seen bed risers. You can use just a bucket. You get a bucket from Lowe's or Home Depot. You could screw a shoe on here, a boot, and that's basically your platform then. Your platform, put your foot into it, and then you're good. One thing with this is that it's plastic, so if you walk around on a smooth surface, chances are you're going to slide and probably fall down. So the other thing is, if you have the means to do it, you could build your own set. You could build it out of PVC. You could build it out of wood. You could build it out of aluminum. The first set I actually built was it was made out of aluminum. I wore them for about 10 minutes and said, you know what? Not what I want. Threw them out because it didn't feel right when I was walking in them, and I'll tell you why in a second. But one thing you need to think about with this building your own is that it has to be strong enough to support not only the weight of you, but also the weight of your costume that you're wearing. Because you don't want to build something too heavy, and then with your added weight, you don't want those things to give out underneath you. So keep that in mind. But the reason why I decided not to go with the homemade lifts was because when you walk in these things, you can't walk naturally. So let's just take this Amazon box here. We'll act like this is my lift that I built. So as you can see, it's a really wide kind of surface area here. It's just flat. So when you're walking and you're trying to take natural steps, it wants to slam down just because of the way that the platform is. So it slams down. So you really can't take a natural step. And if you do try to take a natural step, what's going to happen is it's going to slam you down. You're going to want to go forward, or it's going to slam down and pop back, and you're going the other way. Because you just can't get that natural motion of a foot. I'm sure you've seen it at conventions. I'm sure you've seen videos of it. You'll see this big costume, and then he's standing there looking all great, and then you see him start walking. He's kind of taking these shuffle steps. I'm not knocking it, because I'm not trying to take anything away from the guys that use the platforms. But as far as it was for me, I just didn't feel safe in it, and it didn't give me that natural type walk that I wanted, so I decided not to go with those. But what I did do is I got a set of stilts. Now I use standard drywall painter's stilts. These things are made out of aluminum. It weighs about 7.5 pounds, so it's not too heavy. I got mine off of Amazon. About $80 I paid for these things. And they vary in price depending on who the manufacturer is. And honestly, you don't need to go with some real high price one to have good stilts. I bought these things 3 years ago thinking I was going to use them just for one Halloween, and I've been using them ever since. So you don't have to spend big bucks to have a good set of drywall stilts. So don't be tricked by that. These things are adjustable in height. They can go from usually anywhere from 14 inches at the lowest to about, I think, 36, maybe a little bit higher, 42. I'm not sure, but that's going to depend on your manufacturer as well. So that's the one downside to it, is if you need to have your stilt lower than 14 inches, you're not going to be able to do that. So keep that one in mind. That might be the only downside to having the stilts. So the way these things work is you got your foot platform up here. You have an adjustable heel, so if you have a bigger foot, you can slide that back. These strap onto your feet with these two straps. On the bottom here, you have a rubber sole. Gives you good grip. You can actually change these out if you wear them out. I've changed these out already once because I wear these things all the time in my costumes. The really nice thing about these is, like I said, you can walk natural in these things, because if you see these inner workings here, when you walk, it moves. So you can basically take normal steps. These springs here, you can actually adjust the tension on these as well. So if you want to be a little bit stiffer or looser, you can do that depending on how you're walking in them. And I'm assuming it's probably because your weight as well. But you can adjust them here, and that's it for this lower section. And then up here, you have your calf support. I went ahead and I bought these off Amazon. These wide straps for about $30. It's a whole lot more comfortable. It has an air pad in it. So you really don't even feel that it's there, because when you buy them, they come with these straps right here, and over time it starts cutting into your calf, and it's definitely not comfortable, and you want to get out of these things as fast as you can. So take the extra time and buy these things. You're gonna be really happy. So the other thing I always get asked is how do I attach them to my costumes? So if you look right here, you see that bolt running through for that calf support. I just took a strap and attached it to that, and then put a clip on that. And then on the costume leg, I have another strap with a clip, and then I just clip it together, and it holds the costume leg up onto the stilt. And then at the base of the stilt, what I did was I took another strap and ran it on the side, so it holds that nice and tight up against the side of the costume leg. So that keeps it straight instead of wobbling back and forth when I walk. So that's really all it is. Just a two strap system to attach to the costume leg, and it's really stable. Haven't had any kind of issues with that. Another question I get asked is, how long did it take me to learn how to walk in these things? Really didn't take me too long. When I first got them, I didn't realize that you have to adjust them to you, basically. When you get them from the manufacturer, they just come non-adjusted. So you gotta adjust all the settings on it. Because when I first put these things on, I wanted to fall this way, that way. I just didn't feel comfortable at all walking in them. But once I had these things adjusted, probably 10 minutes, and now I was set. And it's just like walking around naturally. It's just an extension of your leg. The way I get into these things is I always have just a short ladder that I can sit on. So I put these things on. You can actually put them on the ground. It's a little bit harder, but the way I put them in my costume, I just went ahead and got the ladder, and it makes it a lot easier. You can do steps with these things if you choose to do it. I'm not recommending you do it, but you can. I don't do it because of the way my costume legs are built. I would eventually probably break a foot or something like that, and I really don't want to break a foot off my costume. So I just avoid steps altogether. Usually use the elevator or something, and that works out pretty good. But that's it. You can get high performance stilts, so you can jump around in them. Digi stilts if you want to have like a reptile type leg. But that's really it for stilts. If you guys choose to go with them or lifts, it really takes your costume to the next level. No pun intended. But I think you guys will like it, because the reaction you get from people, they really enjoy it too. So that pretty much it concludes the video for today. If you guys have any specific questions you want to know, just leave a question in the comments. Other than that, if you like the video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe. You can always check out my current projects on Instagram at BMBids. And other than that, you guys have a good day. Catch you later.